Hello everyone, in this video we're going to talk about scopes in GORM. Scopes are functions that allow you to customize your queries in a reusable and modular way. It is a function that gets GORM DB object as an input and returns to DB again. This enables you to customize your queries, add filters, sort, select specific columns, etc. without having to rewrite the logic every time. So it helps to keep your code clean, organized and easy to maintain. This approach is particularly useful in large projects or if you have complex queries. In the previous videos we had an order API and we created some endpoints. So in this video we are going to create a new endpoint and use the scopes in there. So let's jump to the code. Okay, this is our API. We have an order create endpoint and we had a get endpoint getting order by ID. You don't have to watch the previous videos to understand this video. We're just going to talk about actually scopes. We are going to create a new endpoint and use scopes in there. So we have an order table and order line tables, and in the order table we have a cargo ID, we have an isShip column in there. So in this new endpoint that we are gonna create, we are gonna ship our orders by cargo, but cargo code, not cargo ID. So let's think it like we have a warehouse operation and we are shipping our orders by cargo, and we have cargo code, we have cargo code, not cargo ID. So this is about integrations and etc. So we need to create a cargo column, cargo table, and give that a code. So I'm just gonna create a new table because we don't have that. We are gonna create the cargo table and get that code. And the new endpoint, we are gonna get the cargo ID from the path, and when we are gonna update our table to isShip to true, we are gonna get the cargo code. So in the new endpoint that we are gonna write, we will get the cargo code from the request path and get the cargo ID from the code and set our isShip to true. And we will use the scopes in there. We will get the cargo ID from the code before we update the isShip to true with the scopes. So let's first create our cargo table. I had the DDL, so I will just copy it. This is our cargo table. We have ID, code description and created date, created at, just a simple SQL. Okay, it has created. Let's see it. Okay, now now that we have a cargo table, we can add some data in here. Okay, so we can have GTM for Gotham, why not? Gotham City cargo, and we can have Krypton for GRP, Krypton, yes, and we can have a coast city. This is a Green Lantern city, so coast city, coast, yes, this is better, coast city. Okay, I think 3 is enough. Okay, let's go to our code base. Okay, this was our project. You can get the code from my GitHub, link in the description. So we have 2 endpoints. We will create the third one, but first let's add our cargo entity to here. So it is cargo. Okay, I will just copy here because I'm just lazy. Okay, I will use here and say this is cargo. I have cargo and it is primary key, yes. We have code, column is code, and we had a description, right? So I will just say, oops, description, and we had create date. Okay, description, yes. So this is our cargo. We don't need to specify the table name to GORM because it is default cargo to cargo, so it will understand it. So let's start with creating our endpoint. So I will copy here and get to here and say we are shipping our order by cargo code. So I will just say like this: ship order by cargo code. Okay, shipping order, ship. We don't have a request this time. We have ship order by cargo code. We don't need a validator because we are not gonna use actually a request object here. We will just get the cargo code from the request path. So we can just say orders cargo code ship, like I'm getting the cargo code and ship there. So we have a not request, we have cargo code, and it is not in body, it is in path, and it is a string. It is mandatory request for cargo code of order. Yes, and I think that's it. No, we have here cargo code, we have cargo code in here. This is for Swagger, and ship. Okay, I think that's it. We don't need a request, we will just get the cargo code. So we can just say context.params and get the cargo code from here. Yep, cargo code, and we can just validate for if it is empty or not. If it is nil, oh, we can just return a bad request, right? So I will just say bad request with invalid cargo code. I think that is enough. And then we can call our order service and ship function, but we don't have it. So we can just get here and create our function. Okay, ship order by cargo code. We can just call our repository function, but we don't have it, so let's create that one. And this is the main function actually that we are gonna use the scope in here. So I will get here and say ship order by cargo code. We are gonna get cargo code as a string. We don't need to return anything, so I will just return the error if we have any, like it is an invalid cargo code or etc. So I will just delete here and say, and I will say let's get our DB object. Our model is order, so entity.order. Yep. Then we are gonna update our isShipped, right? Our isShipped to true. We need to have our cargo ID, right? But we have cargo code, so we need to get that cargo ID from our code, and we are gonna use the scopes in there. So we need to create a function for that. So I will just create a function that gets the GORM-DB object and returns to GORM-DB object function. So get cargo code by ID. I think that is good. It will get the cargo code, but we can just say code because it is specific to cargo string, and it will return a function that will get the GORM-DB object and returns to GORM-DB object. Yes, so return a function. Yes, and in here we are going to validate if the cargo code is not empty or not, and then we will get the cargo ID by code. So let's check if it is empty or not. Code. If it is not empty, we can say cargo entity.cargo. Yes, and we can get to DB, and we need to create a new session, because we are actually getting the cargo, so we are changing the session, our DB context. So we will just say a new session, GORM.session, yes, because if you don't, we are gonna get the code by ID in the orders table because it is that context and that query, but actually we are creating a new query in here. So our model is cargo, it will get the table from there, and then we can say you can assign the data to cargo object. This is our condition, this is our code, and if you don't have any error, then that means we have the cargo ID. So we can say db.where, we are actually adding our where condition, and say this, what it says, oh, I don't have the if, and we can just say cargo ID is our cargo's ID. Yes, and if it is empty, then we can add an error to our DB, and we can create a new error here and say invalid cargo code again, like we had in the BET request. We can ignore it, and we can return our DB. And yes, this is like this. Yes, okay, we have our cargo code by get cargo code by ID function. So we will get to here and say scopes and our function with cargo code. Okay, now it says actually get the cargo code by ID. It will get the cargo, then set the isShip to true with those cargos. Great. So what it says, okay, now we have created our function, and we can check if we have any error or not. So get the result, and if the result has any error, we can return the result dot error. If not, we can just return it. Yes, I think that's great. Okay, let's add our function to our interface so we can call it from the service. Let's go to the service and call our new function. This is cargo code, right, as a string. We are returning just error, we don't need this, and yes, cargo code. Okay, now we can add this function to our interface so we can call it from our controller. I'm getting here. Okay, now let's go to our controller and call our function with cargo code. Yep, so this is actually a result, not let's say result. Oops, result. And if we have any error, if our result is not nil, yeah, let's say error is not nil, we can return a BET request again. We don't know the error, so we can just say error.error, return the error itself. If we have a specific business, we can return those error codes, but for the sake of simplicity, we are not gonna do that. Okay, let's return this. And if everything is okay, we can just say okay and say orders shipped successfully. Yay. Okay, yay. Okay, we have this, we need to change to this to 200 to say okay, and I think everything is okay. So let's register our function, right? So we need to get our main go, and in here, yes, we can say controller.ship, yes, app and order service, yes. So The last thing we need to do is update our Swagger UI. So swag init, yep, and swag format, and we are good to go. So let's see if we could run it in the first try. Let's go to our Swagger, refresh, and we have our shipping order endpoint. Great. So we need a GUID, so I will get GUID from here. This is our correlation ID, and our cargo code is, let's try something else like MFK, and this is invalid cargo code. Okay, great. Now what was our cargo code? GOTM. If we say GOTM, which orders will be shipped? All the ones that have cargo ID 1, right? This one. Okay, so let's see. GOTM, execute. Okay, let's see. Let's see in debug. What is this? We need to return it, and it is not nil like that, like this. Yes, so let's run it again. What is why didn't you say anything? I mean, come on guys. Okay, execute again. Because we don't return it. Yes, you need to return it. Okay, return. Okay, I'm running it again. We didn't success in the first try, so let's execute again. I will just run it. Run it. Yay! Our orders have shipped. Okay, let's see if we have succeeded. Yes, our is-ships are true. Now the last thing that we can add is we can actually use more than one scope. So let's say we need to ship our orders that have not cancelled. We don't have cancelled orders, so I will just add a column for that. Say is cancelled. It can be a bool, and default could be false. Okay, let's say it's not null. Refresh it. Okay, we have our is cancelled, and let's take this to false again. Okay, and now we can cancel some orders. So see if we didn't ship them by accident. So these are true. Okay, so let's write the code for it. So we can get here and create a function. This function, let's say non-cancelled. I don't know if it is a one word or I'm not sure it. I need to check it. English. Non-cancelled orders. We can get the DB object. DB, GORM DB. And return the GORM DB again. GORM DB, and we can just say db dot where our is cancelled is false. I could just say false to here, but I just okay, it is not non-cancelled. Yes, okay, thanks JetBrains. Okay, and we can get to here and add our second scope and say non-cancelled orders, and that's it. Now we will just ship our non-cancelled orders. You can use it in your projects like this if you have more than one conditions, and if you are using them always, so you can create little functions, and you can create little functions that business logics and things like that. In that way you can use it in a modular way. So let's run it again and ship our GOTM orders, but non-cancelled ones. Okay, I will execute it again. Okay, run it again. Orders shipped. Great. Now if we see, yes, if you can see, we didn't ship our cancelled orders. So that is how you can use scopes in your projects. If you have complex queries or large projects, like I said, you can use it like this. You can have the code base in my GitHub repo. It will be in the description as well. And that's it for this video. See you in the next video. Bye bye.